Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be breaking down my 40-yard dash start. I'm going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. Alright, so I think this is going to be a good thing to be able to break down just because when going into the 40-yard start, or really just any type of start, I think it helps in being able to really go over what specifically I am doing or what I'm focusing on as I'm going through these steps. I've been doing a lot more starts here recently. The first thing that I talk a lot about is that drop of the knee and being able to roll those hips through and get that foot down as fast as possible. And I want to say my foot was like 2.3-ish when it came off, right? So it's at 2.8. It's down at 5.4, so actually a little bit more than that, closer to 2.6, right? So that ends up being not a great first step, right? A little bit long on the first step, but you can see, the goal is to probably within the 3-point stance to get closer to 0.23, and then when you're getting a block start, it would be closer to, it's closer to 0.2 as possible. Right, and then when we hit the ground, right, we want to be landing with that. You can see where my heel is facing up as much as possible here. And then we really want to be able to, with that opposite leg, drive through with the knee and be able to get that foot to be a little bit more outside of the knee, right? So that gives us a little bit more space to be able to come forward and through. And when we're doing this, we really want to make sure that we are able to get a little bit of side-to-side movement with the feet, right? So we don't want to end up being, here, let me draw a better arrow. We don't end up being too straight at the beginning. We want to actually be getting some side-to-side motion, right? And then we also want to make sure that the foot contact time is not very long, right? So we're here and back off, 7.2. We said the initial contact was 5.6, right? And then off at 7.2, right? So I'm off at about 0.16, okay, which is good. You want to be at that spot, and then going back down, hitting down at 7.8 here on the left, back off at 9.5, right? So that one's not as good. It's taking a little bit longer on that second step, right? And one of the things, and you can see, like for this step, I'm getting here, and it's a little bit better being, or it's not too bad at being able to maintain a good angle. I'm just not doing a great job of being able to get that foot down, right, and get that heel up, right, where you can see on like this one, much better job of being able to get that toe down, right? So you can see here, see that how I'm rolling the toe right there? That's more of what I'd like to see on this one in order to help me get my foot off the ground quicker, right? My right side is generally better in being able to decelerate and land, right? So I'm landing at 103 on that one, and I'm off by 1.7, right? And that's closer to what we want, okay? So we'd want to have those first steps to be about 1.7, 1.4, 1.4, right? I got 1.6, 1.7, 1.4. Okay, so not perfect, right? And just to let you know, I ended up running this one, clocked at about a 4.53. Sorry, it was this one here. On this one, I was running the 10. I want to say at the 10 it was like a 1.48 or something along those lines. And so the goal, though, wants to be that we're getting to 4 yards in those 5 steps, right? And so you can see I'm able to get to that position. And then again, we want to be able to make sure that we're getting that foot slightly outside the knee, right? So like right here, foot's a little bit too far inside, but then you can see how, quickly be able to rearrange that to then be able to roll back underneath. Okay, and we just don't want to get too caught going too vertical too fast, right? And then we also don't want to get stuck with our hips being behind our body, right? So you can see like what I'm trying to do here is like I'm getting my foot out in front, right? And then I'm trying to roll my foot back underneath. Okay, again, not as good at timing on this one. Watch when I come through with this right, getting my foot forward and then trying to roll back underneath. That ends up really being the timing there that I'm trying to master, right? Really trying to get good at. So then I can really be able to spend the least amount of time as possible, right? And what those best guys are able to do is very quickly within their 7th step, right, which would be this one for me, they're getting pretty straight overall, right? And so for me, I'd like to see more straightness within that knee, right? Like this one's a little bit closer, okay? And so to be able to get more extended, more upright, Okay, because what happens is if we're not able to get very much horizontal action, right, which is this pullback here, okay, if we can't get that horizontal action going, then it's going to make it so it's very difficult to get through our drive phase into top end speed phase, right? So as fast as we can, we want to be able to get those feet out in front so then we can create that horizontal action. What this horizontal action does, this pull, is it helps us straighten out the leg, which will help us get those hips up and through, right, which will help us be able to minimize the foot contact time. Again, recognize here again, left side, boom, less pullback, right? You can see I do less of a pull. Okay, 168 is when I hit the ground. Okay, off at about 8.2. Okay, so still not a great foot contact time. This one, 9.2, off at 0.3. So 0.11 contact time. Right, so I'm 300ths faster on my left in comparison to my right. Okay, and that ends up being my big thing, right? So there's two things that I'm good at. Okay, I cycle my legs quickly. Okay, so we go to like the 0.3 or here, let's even go just to this one here. We said off at 8.2, right? Down at 1.4. Okay, so that took me 0.32. Okay, with my leg cycle, and you can see like this was not as good as we'd want that backside to be, but you can see how I'm keeping my foot low, right? My left foot really needs to be able to get a little higher up, to be honest. My left one's almost too low this late into it. But you can see this whole time that my feet are staying low, right? We talk a lot about this. How do I get my foot in front? How do we create horizontal cycle? Or how do we create horizontal force? I got to be able to get my foot through and then be able to strike right back down to the ground. Okay? And being able to do that more effectively, you can see my left leg is not getting too much height. It's not great with the height, right? I need to get more, like the height that I'm getting with my right foot is significantly better than the height I'm getting with my left foot. Okay, I'm just not getting high enough to be able to create the same types of horizontal forces. Okay, and so what happens is because I don't create near as much horizontal force on my left side, my foot contact is way less. Okay, and because my foot contact is way less, it's going to impact my ability to get into top speed and really be able to get a true max speed. Okay, so again, we go back to it. The sooner and the better I can create horizontal force in the ground, then the faster my foot contact is going to be. I can cycle my legs quickly, and I can pick up a good amount of distance per step. I'm good at reaching with my feet, right? I'm good at getting my feet out in front of me, okay? But my weakness is my foot contact time, and the reason that is because of the horizontal the horizontal force out of my left leg, right? Because I just can't make up for it enough with the right side. No matter what, you know, if my foot contact on my left side is 0.12, the chances of me having 0.08 on my right side is very limited, right? It's going to increase my right side foot contact time being so bad on the left, right? And so that's going to be something that I would give myself feedback of, right? This is a breakdown of my own sprinting, right? And so it gives you an idea of when you send in video, what I'm looking for, right? What makes a difference? All right, and so I think that helps you in being able to understand, like, this is a very, very individualized thing, right? Because then once you can see this, now we could go into, okay, these are some of the things that we could do to correct it, right? In terms of horizontal forcing, single leg cycles, drills, exercises, horizontal force creation exercises. So there's a wide variety of things we could do. The big thing is just being able to isolate the problem. Right? First, we need to isolate the problem. Even, you know, if you run 4 or 5, if you run fast, you could still have things that you need to work on, right? Because at the end of the day, I mean, 4 or 5, I guess for a lot of people, it ends up being, you know, pretty fast. But for the wide variety, I mean, 4 or 5, if there's a top receiver recruit, right? Because I was playing more receiver or defensive back, right? Who is going into the NFL. And again, it's going to be top 3 projected, let's say. And then he ran 4.5, 4.53, I want to say is this one. Unless he's a really big guy, he would go down with his value. His stock would go down running a 4.53. Again, unless he's like 6'6", you know. But even in that case, he would probably go down because of how the speed of the game is, and because really that is, while again it's good, it's not amazing though, right? You need to be able to really break down this whole thing just that much more in depth in order to truly run a great time, right? You could run a lot faster. I mean, it's possible to run in the 4.4s, sub 4.4s, right? If you could really break down the technique and understand what it is that you need to improve. So as always, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. And as always, you know, we have some great programs down there in the description, right? Check out that Faster 40 program. If you're trying to get faster quickly, the best thing we could do is isolate what it is you need to work on, right? And the program is for a 4-week, really high intensity type of thing where we're really getting you better. Not high intensity like we need to push you a ton, right? It's just a high intensity program where we're going to be able to get a lot out of what is the time taken within the 4 weeks, right? So we want to be able to isolate problems. We want to isolate what it is that you need to improve, and we'd be able to do that very, very quickly, right? And so when you can go and slow it all down like this, I think it really makes a big difference in really making sure that you're able to see the necessary improvements that you're looking for. So again, check out that in the description down below if you want to check out more videos like this. Like the video, subscribe to the page, and as always, we'll talk to you soon.